My brother, 30 South Africans, white South African, have been approved for a visa to the Netherlands, to the United States of America.
We just want to say to America and to the West, despite the foreign policy decisions the South African government had taken in the past 2 decades, the West does still have a friend here in South Africa.
Yeah. Let me put it this way for you. 30 white South Africans have been approved by the American Embassy in South Africa to go and be relocated in the United States of America. And America is taking care of everything. What's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for stopping by. You are appreciated. If you're new here, I'm Zack. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Sometimes I say things that are... You're going to find out. Thank you. We like you. We want you here. This is brotherhood. I know I look like your cousin. You look like mine. Your first time, please click on the button, subscribe, so we can see each other every single day. I come every day, like every day. Okay? Thank you. Now, today we're talking about South Africa. Here's South Africa on the map. Here we talk about South Africa. We'll show you the map. Okay? Do you know where South Africa was? Great stuff. That's lovely. But many people don't know where South Africa is. They just think. So let's help one another instead of insulting each other. South Africa's right here. Beautiful place, lovely people. Don't listen to the people that say they're xenophobic. No, it's not truth. Yes, you find some people out here and there that are xenophobic. They are very similar. If you look at them, they look very similar. They come from a very same place. They are xenophobic, yes. No, but not all of South Africa. No, not at all. It's a lie. If you come in peace, they're very peaceful, very happy. Yes, there are some that are xenophobic, but not all. I'm just kidding. Let's go back on track. The claim has started. The USA has begun processing asylum claim for white South Africans. Over 30 applicants have already been approved after interviews in Pretoria with positive encounter with US officials. White South African farmers applying for asylum seeker in the United States of America cite fears over land disputes, rising crime, perceived racial discrimination is a key reason for seeking refuge.
If I do get the chance to go, it won't be like a charity case. I would take all my assets, I would sell them, go there, maybe start a life for myself, because I don't see starting a family here in South Africa. Thinking back 20 years ago, how it was for me when I was a child and how it is now, I cannot picture how it would be if I had a child now and for that child to be my age in 2050. How would that be? I can't see it getting better for this country. It's a sinking ship.
First thing, I want you to take a picture of this flag.
So Mr. Trump, thank you so much for noticing that and help making South Africa also great again.
So white South Africans want to go to America. Why? Because they feel like they're being persecuted. How? Racially, because black people apparently don't like them. So they're not making things available for them, opportunities, land, and stuff like that. How is that possible? Well, because back in the past, black people were subjugated, they were under the shackle of apartheid, and in 1994, apartheid ended. Therefore, many white people feel like black people are making them pay for the things their forefathers did in the past. Now, is this truth? Now, white farmers are applying for asylum seeker in the United States of America because they fear. They say there's rising crime. There's so much crime. Is there crimes in South Africa? Yes, there's a lot of crimes. A lot of crime. Matter of fact, South Africa is ranked among the country with the highest level of crime in the world. We have Cape Town, Johannesburg, Durban. These are big places. Yeah, there's a lot of crime. Yes, absolutely. Number 2, to talk about the reverse racism, meaning black South Africans are pressuring them and using the same amount of racism they had in the past. Something similar to that. The friction intensified after Elon Musk publicly accused the South African government of racism for its plans to expropriate the land from white farmers without compensation. The controversial legislation passed under the Expropriation Act of 2024 permits to seize land without compensation in specific cases, with the goal of addressing deep-rooted historical injustice in land ownership. Did you understand that? Okay, I thought so. A lot of us didn't understand, right? It's a lot of English. Great. Let's break it down. Thank you. I appreciate. You see why you gotta be here? Because we break things down. So basically, Elon Musk, this guy right here, was very angry because of things happening in South Africa. He went and spoke to Donald Trump, said, hey, Trump is his friend. Things happening in South Africa. Or matter of fact, black people in South Africa persecuting white people. They taking their land by force without paying it back. Therefore, let's do something about it. So Trump looked at, oh, really? This is unacceptable. We cannot accept this. This is bad thing. South Africa, so they went to South Africa and threatened, like, we're going to sanction you.
Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
Number one, they cut aid. USA used to provide aid to South Africa. It's in terms of PEPFAR. PEPFAR is a program that's allocated to people living with HIV. Okay, it's not just South Africa. Many African countries actually benefit from PEPFAR. Now, South Africa gets some of its ARVs, which are tablets for people living with HIV, from the program of PEPFAR. So America decided we're not going to send you anything through PEPFAR anymore. So all social workers, health workers, medication, finish. Why? Because Elon Musk told Trump that things are happening in South Africa and black people are persecuting and doing bad things to white people. Now, let's get back in past. In the past, South Africa was part of Africa, like many other countries. You're probably asking yourself a question, how did white people get to South Africa? They came into South Africa looking for a better life, okay? Now, unlike most white people in Africa, like Britain that took Kenya, Uganda, Nigeria, France that took Cote d'Ivoire, Benin and Senegal and all that, white people of South Africa came to stay in South Africa, okay? These other whites, British, Germans, came to steal and go. They came for timber, for gold, for diamonds and leave. Now, we're not going to say that white South African did not come for timber, gold, and diamonds, but at least they came to stay in Africa. They didn't come to steal and go. However, the way they came wasn't the friendliest way. Okay, they didn't want to be part of any black community. They wanted to create their own community in Africa. Now, when white people of Europe came to Africa, they sliced Africa into small pieces. They called them countries. They never used to be countries before. Before 1884, it's never existed. It was just a big land like this, okay? There was no country. All these boxes were allocated to each other amongst Europeans. Why? Because Europeans going to Berlin in 1884 did not want to fight each other in Africa. The goal was, let's go to Africa, let's loot. Oh, look, there's gold, diamond, iron, whatever, you name it. But let's not kill each other for the same thing. But let's not unalive each other for it. Why was that necessary? Because they unalived each other many times in the past in Europe. Now, unlike the white South Africans of today, their forefathers went to South Africa with the goal of taking land by force and just staying and creating their own community. Unfortunately, it was at the price of many lives. Many black South Africans lost their land, okay, because in 1913, they voted an act called the Native Land Act, which prohibited black South Africans of owning land. Just imagine you live in your neighborhood with monkeys and, are there monkeys in South Africa? Yes, monkeys and stuff. And somebody comes and says, no, from now on, all these monkeys are mine now. You can get out. It's not yours. No, we're not paying you nothing. Or if you open your mouth, we break your jaw. How about that? So that was the reality of many black South Africans. They took the land from them by force. They've pushed them into an area, like a corner, like a messed up corner where all the black South Africans will stay. Meanwhile, the whites stay in the most lavish, loveliest places. Unfortunately, this is the truth. Now, in 1940s, the apartheid was official, where there was segregation, clear separation, clear cut between white and black. No crossing, no talking to each other too close like that. No dating one another. No drinking water from the same fountain. No sleeping in the same bed. Not taking your pants, none of that. No, not authorized. Not going to the same schools, none of that. And it was very painful for the black. Very hard time. In the 1960s, most African people were liberated. They were free. Okay, you had your freedom. South Africans were still under the shackle of apartheid. where they could not speak. You could not, have a discussion that goes south with a white person. Yeah, you're probably going to go to jail or get beaten up, if not unalived. It was very sad. Until 1994, okay, that is when Nelson Mandela came out of jail, and then there was a big election, the ANC won, and everybody was happy because the majority of the people in South Africa were black. But until that time, 72% of the land belonged to whites, at least good land. Meanwhile, the whites in South Africa are less than 10%. And the majority of black, which is, of course, the great majority of people, have less than 10% of the land. Now, government came up with a law. This law served to, share some of the land with everybody. How? Some white people acquired land and never done anything to the land. Let's say your grandfather took the land in 1913. Took the land, it's like 11 soccer field, but you've done absolutely nothing to the land. Nothing. The government say we want to have the rights to take the land. If there is a project that will benefit everybody, like a school, like an hospital, we want to take the land from you. You haven't done anything, no change. You have not invested your money into the land. You've got 10 soccer field. They're just sitting there doing nothing. Can we take the land? That was the goal of the government. Now, many people amongst the whites feel like that's just a strategy to very slowly move in, because how did you determine what land was fixed? How do you determine whether there was investment in the land or not? It's a very broad law, so it makes it very difficult for them. But in the meantime, it is public knowledge that the majority of land in South Africa is within the hand of white people. Now, fellas, Nelson Mandela came up with something very interesting, which is called, the Rainbow Nation. You know what the rainbow looks like? Yeah, so many colors. Now, South Africa is called the Rainbow Nation, where you find blacks, whites, coloreds, and Indians, and more, okay? Coloreds are not blacks, just so you know. Coloreds look like this, blacks look like this. Again, coloreds look like this, black look like this. You probably think, but he looks black because you're African American. Well, in South Africa, these are colored. And they're not necessarily black, okay? Some of them have ancestry coming from Asia and stuff like that. So they don't perceive themselves as black. Now, is this bad? Surely, well, it is accepted. That's what it is. Initially, it was about control. Well, now people have accepted themselves the way they are. They don't really mind. Now, is South Africa truly a rainbow nation? Well, there are varieties of people, different type of people. Black, white, Chinese, India, you name it. Yes, there are Indians in South Africa. How did they come? The Indians came to work. They brought them also, a lot of them by force. Obviously, South Africa was colonized by the British at some point. So the British needed to go to India to bring in workers to work the field. Why, you ask yourself? Because, well, some Zulus refuse to work. Now, Zulus are very stubborn people, okay? You don't boss them around. No, not at all. If they don't want, they don't want. Unless you have big guns. If you don't have big guns, well, you probably... Yeah, so we see, because we were not there back in time, it was surely about that. We're not going to work. And I believe people need to stand strong for things they believe in. That is why they went to find Indians. Now, there's other account that says the reason why they went to find Indians is because they felt the Zulus were not smart enough to do the job. That's their account. The Zulus' account is they didn't want to work. Now, who's telling the truth, who's lying? We don't know. Anyway, I think we have an idea. Now, Donald Trump has chased many people from America. Okay? A lot of people. Right now, people from Sudan have seen their visas cancelled. All of them. Why? Because Sudan refused to accept somebody Trump sent back to Sudan. Why did Sudan refuse? South Sudan, refused to accept this person because they discovered he was not Sudanese. He was actually from the DRC, the Congo. Now, why would you take somebody that doesn't belong in your country? Because America says so. They sent him back to the state, and that's where they said, okay, you know what? All of your citizens that have decent, regular visa, we'll see them cancelled because you refuse to take this African dude. So Sudan accepted this Congolese guy. I don't know how they're going to send him back to Congo, whether he's going to have to walk to Congo, we don't know. But that's the reality of it. Now, whilst America says we don't want immigrants in our country, they've opened the door to Afrikaners, white South Africans. And they're fast tracking these people. And some of the persons say that he had such a good welcoming, good feeling discussing with the officials at the embassy.
I think as soon as the American embassy opened their doors, or not even opened, South Africans were farmers who are rushing to the embassy to, get residency or green cards to come to America.
It's going to be a good move for the Afrikaans people in South Africa to get this opportunity, because it's just getting more and more dangerous every single day.
I mean, you as a black person, you know how you sometimes treated in embassies of Europe or America. Not that they don't treat you bad, but the way it's like, where are you going? What are you looking for? When are you coming back? Okay, your face look a little bit left. You're not getting the visa. But in the meantime, clearly, people choose based on something. Are black South Africans persecuting white South Africans? Question mark. Are white South Africans being genocided? Question mark. Is the government taking the land without compensation? Question mark. Should the government of South Africa pay white people for the lands their forefathers took by force? Question mark. Should they then be paid because there was some level of improvement? Should they pay them for the improvements only on the land? Question mark. Let me know how you feel about this. It was a great pleasure. God bless.